Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeart Radio. Coming up, Konrad is not here today.
No.
However, we have a substitute teacher in place, and you know what that means.
Yeah.
The kids go wild over the car
So
clinic.
does the teacher.
And we'll have this week's Automotive News. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday on our live broadcast. If you're listening on a podcast, this should be our Tuesday show. So there's just that.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd break that up. We've got a lot of news to get to, and I'm going to read this particular story. This is not on our news segment, but I thought it was good for discussion. And, of course, it's the war in Ukraine and how it's affecting the automotive industry. So the story from Automotive News, many of the companies that have moved operations outside of Ukraine or Russia might not be in a hurry to return, according to an analyst at Alex Partners. The destruction in Ukraine and economic sanctions against Russia have already had a significant impact on the auto industry, including the closure of assembly and parts plants in Russia and suppliers such as Aptiv shifting some production out of the Ukraine. Parts such as wire harnesses that were built in Ukraine and then placed in vehicles on assembly lines in Germany, for instance, might instead be built in low-wage countries closer to Germany and farther away from Russia's sphere of influence. Russia, meanwhile, was a top supplier of important raw materials for automakers, including palladium, platinum, aluminum, pig iron, and nickel. Prices on many of those raw materials have jumped in recent weeks because of the war, and there are concerns about whether companies will be able to source enough materials from other countries. President Joe Biden is poised to invoke as soon as this coming week Cold War powers to encourage domestic production of critical minerals for electric vehicle and other types of batteries, according to people familiar with the matter. The White House is discussing adding battery materials to the list of items covered by the 1950 Defense Production Act, the same authority wielded by Harry Truman to make steel for the Korean War and Donald Trump to spur mask production to tackle the coronavirus pandemic. Adding minerals like lithium, nickel, graphite, cobalt, and manganese to the list could help mining countries access $750 million under the Defense Production Act's Title III fund. The move could also aid recycling of battery materials. So we have not even really begun to see the impact that it's going to have overall with the auto industry, and parts that we normally take for granted that may or may not be available in the coming months or years.
There's quite a few of that. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
What are you doing over there, Mars? He's not paying attention. He's over there.
Too. I'm listening.
You know what he's doing?
About Ukraine.
He is over there, and he's scanning the internet for naked pictures of cars.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No, I think he just joined the Foreign Legion. Is what he did. He's figuring something out.
Yeah. So at any rate, all I can say is that we haven't even begun to experience any of these effects yet. Prices are going to continue to rise when it comes to cars and the manufacture of them.
Yep.
Used car prices are through the roof. Matter of fact, I saw the other day a car that would be normally $20,000 on the used car market is now like $22,300 or something like that. And it continues to get out of balance more and more so.
And in my segment, when I do the pre-owned, depending on what value it is, and you're researching this and doing some things online, you can see from week to week the increase of the prices by either several $100s to several thousand, depending on the mileage and the type of vehicle.
You know, we'll have to talk to the Emmons brothers. Why don't we schedule
Well, that's
them?
what I was going to say. I've been trying to get with them, but they've been doing so much racing. They've been up in Oklahoma, Florida.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the season.
Yeah, it's the season. You know, they're really getting cranked, and I think they're hauling all 4 cars to every race. They're going big time. So we haven't been able to catch up with them yet.
But I will tell you that, David Ainsley just recently purchased another car from them, a bargain, a $10,000 car, and that's what they are known for. They were talking about Emmons Motors down in the Friendswood area, and they're what I would consider the upper crust of the used car dealers in the Houston area.
Beautiful facility.
A beautiful facility, and they sell really good quality cars.
Good people. They're involved in the community. They're involved in their customers. They give a great product, and they're involved in racing.
Yeah, yeah. So it strikes all of the right boxes for us. But at any rate, so Ainsley emailed me the other day. He says, I think I need to get the frequent flyer card down here.
Get a group
family
rate
discount. They're your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
But speaking of group rates,
yes,
George Skelton. We have George Skelton.
Our number,
the George.
You ready?
The number one fan. George is on the beach. What the hell, George? George, what are you doing? Where are you?
Margaritaville.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. We can hear you.
I'm on a beach. I'm on a beach in Temple.
Temple, Texas. That's great. Well, it's good to see you, my friend. And listen, we were trying to get, we dreamed up our own reasoning for the 6 taco trophies that are here. Is it 6? 2, 4, 6?
Yeah.
6 taco trophies that arrived via UPS, I guess, yesterday or day before. And I'm going, okay, well, are we supposed to give these away, or what is the George?
The lineage.
Yeah. Help us out. He's frozen in time.
No, I don't think you hear us.
Well, it has to do with Jeff.
Oh.
And him giving away free tacos.
Oh.
And I just thought the show was so good that y'all never talk about the awards anymore, and the Taco Writers of America wanted to give you those awards.
Well, listen, we can't thank you enough for sending the Taco Writers of America.
I'm honored.
And I think that Mars used to be a president of the Taco Writers of America.
Well, it was the Texas.
No, it was the Taco
Writers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful beautiful trophies.
They really are, and so meaningful. And who doesn't like good tacos?
Yeah.
Taco time.
Do you have good tacos up there in Temple, Texas?
Well,
they have a beach.
Well, and Stan Holtz. Yes, very much so. And Stan Holtz is going to rename his tacos the Sir Don taco.
Sir in the
free Jeff taco.
Free Jack taco.
Free Jeff. Yeah, free Jeff. Free Brittany.
Lowrider Mike Mars taco.
That would be from Neaterville. And then we have
and the King Konrad.
Yes.
Taco.
Yep. Well, that's good.
That's a staple.
Did you just
get the David taco?
David.
So, did you just get out of bed, George?
And the space taco for Jeff Heitzman.
Yes, that's it. So, did you just get out of bed?
I did.
I just kind of had that feeling.
I did.
He rolled out of the hammock onto the beach. There you go.
Well, it's always
more coffee.
It's always good to see you and to talk to you. And we were thinking about joining you at the beach up there in Temple.
Beautiful beach.
It really is. So, I'm sure that you'd love to have a visit by the In-Wheel Time team.
There's a delay in Temple.
Yeah, must be a big delay out there on the sands.
Absolutely to the drag strip down there, and that you're going to come to.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. And George, it's great to see you. And thank you so much for the trophies. We're not exactly sure how we're going to delve those out, but I think that we'll come up with something here in the next week or two.
I appreciate you naming them after me. That's great.
Yeah. Very good. Appreciate it, George. Thank you.
It's kind of like a television broadcast with the reporter out in the field. Okay, Don, back to you. And there's nothing, silence.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. All right.
We love you, George.
Okay. So, well, that was a nice diversion, wasn't it? Glad we got that underway. But anyway, back to our story about the invasion by Russia into Ukraine and how it's going to affect the car business. And it just is really a sad day for all of us because what just ain't going to happen
for a lot of reasons.
It's kind of like somebody getting slapped at the Academy Awards.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that to Mike later.
Are we?
Yeah. We're gonna give him the award, the taco award.
Be
and
like
we're gonna slap him.
like an airplane. Everybody's going to kind of line up.
And let me see your hand. Mine's bigger, so we're using mine.
Okay.
And I'm glad that it is
Now
your
you're
left.
bragging.
Your left cheek. Your left cheek is bare, so I can take that right hand of mine and whack the glasses right off of your head.
Whack it.
Yep. You okay, Mike?
His is bigger.
I'm wondering how good he is at whacking off. This my glasses thing whack. Never mind.
Did he just say that?
Yeah, he did. Doo-doo.
Why don't you just go ahead and finish the show from here because
Well,
we're leaving.
I think we're gonna go to the backup
I got to take
camera.
some notes here about what George said.
You need to change the subject real
Yeah,
quick.
I didn't know they had a beach in Temple. That's great.
It
Well,
is.
you only have
It's
you can
awesome.
see all the big tall pine trees over there on the other side of
Yeah.
the beach from him.
Yeah, and they got one palm tree on the beach. That's great. That's just great.
Would you like me to come up with something else to talk about and
Sure.
to make the right-hand turn here away from this?
Mhm. Mhm.
All right. Well, there are some recalls that I wanted to get to. Actually, quite a few of them. GMC Terrain. Headlight reflection may cause glare. It's being recalled from 2010 through 2017. That's a lot of GMC Terrains. And you can always go to safercar.gov, type in your VIN number that you can find on your insurance card that should be in your wallet,
Mhm.
and it will tell you if your car has been recalled. Now, the recalls that I'm going to tell you about today probably haven't made it into the mail to your house just yet because they're really new, and it takes these manufacturers a while to come up with a remedy and to distribute the parts to the dealership. So, if it's being recalled today, you'll need to get your car in there probably in the next couple of months. Anyway, there's the Lincoln Corsair that's also under recall for a high voltage battery failure.
Uh-oh.
Ford Expedition, F-150, and Navigator from 2016 through 2018. Master brake cylinder may leak fluid into the booster. That's not good. Steering assembly bar may bind inside the rack of the Dodge Durango and Jeep Cherokee for 21 and 22 model years. Unreliable HV battery connection may cause a stall on the brand new Volkswagen ID4. I have not seen any of those on the road. Have you?
No.
None, not one.
They've been recalled.
Engine design cover may come loose and melt on the
Oh.
Volkswagen Golf R and GTI for 2022. I think every Mercedes known to man that has ever been built is being recalled for one of two things: disabled rear lighting or incorrect software that may cause system failures. And I'm not going to go through the list. It's a ginormous list of vehicles starting in the model year 2007 all the way through 2022.
Wow.
That's a lot. Tesla, initial delay in a rear view image display. That's not even worthy of a story, so forget that. Who cares? Yeah, I thought this was a very interesting story. BMW dealerships' interiors will be upgraded.
More seating, more comfortable seating, maybe a lounge with food and a cafe.
Cocktails.
Yeah.
The big screen TVs, video games,
Multiple screen TVs.
play area.
BMW is re-imaging brick-and-mortar showroom experiences for the digital age. The brand's global retail next design concept, which debuts in the U.S. in July, attempts to make the dealership visit feel more experiential and less transactional.
So they're getting rid of the people.
Yeah, BMW in North America sales boss Sean Bugby told Automotive News last week. BMW's future showrooms will feature fewer cars, and each model will have a display with lounge-like seating so we can sit around and look at pictures of the BMW M3. Unique lighting elements and premier furnishings. Hey, it's kind of like dressing the window at the Macy's.
Didn't Nathan from 0 to 60 say he sits around in his garage looking at his cars?
He did say
I
that.
think that's the concept.
About 25 BMW dealerships are in early planning stages to update to the new design. Nearly a third of the brand's 350 stores here in the U.S. will renovate their spaces over the next few years. Well, that's going to really sell some cars when nobody walks into brick and mortars anymore. Just saying. Who buys cars at the dealership anymore? Does anybody?
Well, people like us. I mean, the idea.
But we're old.
I know.
Tire kicker.
But we're not the future.
I know. We're not the future.
No, we're the future in the grave business. Pretty much the immediate future. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to say goodbye to In Wheel Time, and we're going to call it the Pastime Show.
Oh,
because we're old, and it's not our market anymore. It's our children and our grandchildren,
and they're digital.
And Mars, I don't know what kind of Prevagen you took this morning, but it's clearly not working.
No, it's not working, because I was thinking that what we ought to do is start a business so that people our age can pick the car you want to go to the funeral in.
I was going to say
the cemetery.
to be buried in.
Yes.
And people have been buried
Instead
in
of
their cars.
Well, no. Well, I was thinking more like, if you're as we run out of
time.
Yes. But if somebody's cremated, they're in this small thing. You can put them in any kind of car they wanted.
Yeah.
You want to go to the funeral
but I
in
don't
a Corvette?
I don't want to be sharing the back seat with Jeff, okay?
Well, but if you're in a
eternity.
two-seater like in a Corvette, then
that's even worse. I'll just be
there.
in there by myself. Thank you. I'm good. I don't need company.
Yeah, and then you can pass around the urn. You can haunt people in between. It's going to be great because I want to be cremated. Yeah, I'm going to have fun.
When my brother, when he passed away, he was cremated, and his wife, his widow, very much loving wife, put his thing up there on the urn, up on the mantle.
Put his thing up there.
Her mantle. So it was up there
urn.
because she wanted him to be
Looks
there.
like a hot dog.
I'm trying to ignore this and keep going. But anyway, so, after a certain amount of time, she started dating again and everything like that. And found out real quick it was rather uncomfortable for some gentleman caller to come over. And my brother's right there on the mantle.
Having Bob looking at you.
Yeah, he's not there anymore. She got married. Now he's out at the cemetery with everybody else.
With everybody else?
Yeah.
Wow. And this is here in Texas?
Yes.
Oh. Interesting.
The funeral show is brought to you today by
Casket Makers.
No, why did I get there? Why did I go there?
If you buy $1,000 worth of caskets and the NBA team wins, you get it for free.
We'll give you a taco trophy.
I mean, can I bring you a protein energy bar or drink or something to get
something?
Apparently, yeah.
He's got his tea.
You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thank you for riding with us today. By the way, we would love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The info is at info@inwheeltime.com, and you can tell us your funeral plans, and we'll pass them along, so to speak. Time now for the car clinic. Konrad is out today.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
And who's going to do the car clinic?
I am.
He is.
George says if you get cremated, you'll have a smoking hot body again. Again, being the key word.
George, see, he's up now. He's had his
I
coconut milk.
I still have the body of a 16-year-old.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with it though when you're going to let him out of the bedroom?
Oh, Michael,
is there a car clinic that you have over there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, please.
Cooling systems.
All
We
right.
talk about cooling systems every once in a while, but the weather's changing down here in Southeast Texas. It's starting to get a little bit warmer. We're kind of going off into summer. Will be here before we know it, whether we like it or not. So one recent experience I had kind of brought to mind how complacency is not our friend. And this is experience. My granddaughter got a car. She's been driving it for about a year and a half. First checked it out. Everything was cool, but she comes over for a few minutes here, there, and everything. So I don't check it regularly. It's kind of like my wife's car.
Why do you have to check it?
Well, just because.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Is she not married?
No, she's 17.
Oh, well, that's a good
My
thing.
granddaughter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry.
So yeah. So she made the longest trip she ever made. She went down to the beach, and normally she just goes back and forth to school over spring break. Her and her girlfriend went down for the day. Coming back late in the evening, car overheated. She immediately pulled it over and called me. and what to do and all that stuff. So I head down there about an hour. My wife was closer coming from the other way. Anyway, long story short, we couldn't drive it very far because when I got there, it was dark and I opened up the hood and I opened up the radiator after it was cooled off. And it was like a real thin baby food coming out of there. This really orange looking stuff coming up out of the radiator, gooey kind of thing. I didn't know. I'd never seen anything like that. So I didn't know what it was. But it turns out that the transmission cooler is inside the radiator, and it had sprung a leak, and transmission fluid got into the radiator. We checked all kinds of things. So my point being, I wasn't watching it, and who knows when it really happened. But the result is the car overheated. It was running fine, so it wasn't a blown head gasket or anything like that. So it's the radiator, the transmission cooler in the radiator, but it is so gunky that now a flush system, the machines that flush out your cooling system, is too thick. You can't do it. So we have to take the car apart and flush out all the components
separately,
put it back together, then flush it out, and then clean it out, and then refill it and go through all this rigmarole. Of course, the radiator's got to be replaced. All the rubber hoses got to be replaced because transmission fluid is detrimental to rubber.
Yeah, it'll eat it from the inside.
And all of this, right now we're looking at about $1,500 over something that if I hadn't have been so complacent, if I'd have been more checking it more often like we all should be doing with our oil and our cooling systems and transmission fluid and things like that, then it could be avoided. And the main thing was this two 17, 18-year-old girls were sitting on the side of the road about dark with no place to go because they couldn't drive it any further. And if, back in our day, we didn't have cell phones, that would have been even worse.
Well, that's the time that you would call the local police, wherever she was, and say, my granddaughter is stranded on the side of the road. Would you please go over there and sit with her until the wrecker shows up? I've got both called.
I'm on the way and all that. So, but again, complacency. So as we move into this summer, you really need to start checking those kind of things.
Did you talk to Konrad about this plan of yours about flushing each section?
Yes, he's the one that sent me to the guy that he knew the guy that had the machine that could do it.
Yeah, because it's an evac or it's a power.
Yeah, it's kind of a prayer flusher.
Right.
Yeah.
No longer you put it hose, and let it just drain.
Yeah, I mean they had to make sure they had the connections for her particular car, and they did. It's just that it's just too thick.
I believe that's part of the BG flushing surface. That they've got the machine and they've got the stuff to flush it through and all
the
that.
chemical additives and things, all the good stuff.
You know, I had that done to the Corvette, which is now 21 years old. I had that done last year for the first time, I think, since the car was new, because it only has 26,000 miles on it now. And the fluid looked fine, but I know that fluid's been in there since it was put in there from the factory. And so I had all of that done with the brakes, the brake fluid, the transmission. Even though it's a manual transmission, I had that fluid changed
with the shifter,
the transaxle, and the same thing with the power steering and the radiator. I had all that done. And was it expensive? I don't know. Expensive would be the word, but it wasn't cheap. But I had it done, and now I have the confidence that I can go anywhere in the car. All that stuff was looked at, and fluids changed, and we're all good.
And here's how you can justify that: the age of the car, the last time it was done, and you take that value of what you spent and break it down over all those years that it wasn't done, and it's pretty much, pennies on the dollar for how long you've owned it. So it had to have been done.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people like your age that when they started driving,
what the hell does that mean?
I'm not even looking at them. I'm not looking at them.
that I can remember when
Morris, you haven't really contributed a whole lot.
I'm filling in for Conrad today.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that's
right.
the excuse. All right.
And it is his segment.
It is his segment. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, I remember, back in the day when my dad, car's overheating or we need to check the water in it. I mean, you didn't really, back in the early 60s, we didn't worry too much about coolant in the radiator and stuff. And even whenever I started driving, and I'm sure whenever you did, it was still water and stuff. So we had to learn. And now it's not just antifreeze. You just don't go buy a gallon of antifreeze in there. They got different antifreeze for different kinds of cars.
Right.
I mean, it's
blends.
all very specified, and you have to, or you're supposed to change it.
Well,
we
just
never
use
changed
that
it.
Prestone, sir. put that Prestone antifreeze in there. That's good.
With water.
Yeah, and then the factory came out
with water. You had to dilute it.
And the factory came out with this red stuff in there, and you mix in that yellow stuff from the Prestone,
Don't drink it.
And the whole thing turns black. What's that about?
And then you got some green stuff, and you got some red stuff, and
some blue stuff. Yeah,
and it really does have a life on it that you really need to change it. And we just don't think about doing that.
Well, I think that's a good point.
We call that square dancing.
Yeah. And today, with all these people buying used cars, it's more important than ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Because chances are that the fluid's never, like my car, that was never changed.
Right. It was low mileage, so you don't think about it. And again, the complacency that gets in there, plus just how you were brought up and how to treat your car and stuff, things have changed dramatically.
And I'm sure Konrad will tell you, not only the use of the vehicle, but time also deteriorates the chemicals.
It's like you got your brake system flushed and changing the brake fluid and stuff. I never heard of that till a few years ago. We just didn't do it. You just keep adding.
Yeah, adding nice clear fluid to that black goo that's in there now.
That's right.
Eventually
it cycles out. That's right. It
come
just cycles
around.
out.
You
got a wheel cylinder leak. Who cares? It'll just clean itself up.
Quick break now. You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Back after these quick messages.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston March 31st through April 2nd at NRG Center. Featuring 1,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, trucks, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. We welcome everyone to Houston to bid in person, and enhanced online bidding and telephone options make it easy to join the Mecum experience from anywhere in the world. Register to bid now at mecum.com.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Konrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTimeCarTalk.